Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Your Impact. I'm Cassandra Hilos, your host, and today we're gonna talk about Europe, our continent. And let's say it will be like a story. This is the storytelling of Europe, how it was made. So let's get started. So just sit down comfortably and let's get started with the fairy tale of Europe. It's called Europe. So, like millions and millions and millions years ago, all continents was one, and it was called Pangaea. So, because of Earth, and that is moving all the time, and this is Earth is actually a really living organism. This is how it works. It's not dead. Maybe we don't notice it. You think under our feet is dead matter, but it's not. Earth works like a living organism. So Pangaea cracked into many little pieces. Okay, they have different sizes, not little, but to compare how what Pangaea was, there are much more small pieces. So these pieces are called tectonic plates. Maybe you have heard of them. And some of them are moving around. So imagine like piece of puzzle, but they're moving. Some of them are moving towards each other, and some of them are ripping apart. Making more plates like this because they are moving apart and cracking. So one of that piece was Europe. It was very, very smaller than the continent we know today. So I have a map here to help you. So see the green part of it is a geomorphological map. But if you see the green part of Europe, this is how much smaller Europe was. It was very tiny, very smaller than we have today. So like most Mediterranean countries didn't exist. You know, it was a part of Africa and the ocean between the African plate and the European plate. So Europe was like that. It was UK and some Scandinavian countries, and the north part, of course, Europe. So that's where Europe was then. European Union will be there, will be million years ago. It would be like that. So much less countries. But because of again, Earth is moving and evolving, Europe become bigger because pieces of the African plate they detach from the African plate and they move upwards and they move towards Europe. So when pieces of that crack, they like went up and they found Europe, they smash, let's say, each other, and they make the many mountains we have to the southern part. The brown color you see. So it's called the Alps, of course. All these mountains from the Alps continent that comes from Spain and towards Turkey. So that's the Alps continent, let's say. All these mountains came because African plates moved upwards, and the ocean between the African and Europe close, and they make all these high mountains. And that system actually is still on. So we will see Europe become bigger, and one time all the African play we're gonna be, united with Europe, and all Mediterranean Sea will close completely. So we'll make these very big high mountains like Himalaya, let's say. So it will be not so much for vacation at the beach, it will be vacation on mountains area in the future, very far future. I'm talking millions and millions of years from now. So don't be alarmed that you see this change. Nobody from us. Maybe our species will not be the same. We don't know what will happen in the future with climate change, all these things that happen, pandemics and so on. So that's the story how Europe has expanded, has become bigger, and is expanding. And it's actually so interesting that, you know, this continent is changing. Because of that, we have this civilization in Europe, because of that geological change. So that's this geological change that is happening still is affecting us. We have volcanoes and earthquakes, and you know, in UK you can go to see dinosaurs fossils, but in Greece you can't, because as you can see from the story, when dinosaurs existed, Greece didn't. You know, it was sea and the African plate, that movement that happened then. So there was no land called Greece, or you know, exists. Maybe not the name, but the land we know, Greece, doesn't exist. That's why we don't have fossils in the Mediterranean region of dinosaurs, and we have other type of fossils, of course. So that is the older part of Europe. The ancient rocks of Europe, it exists in this region, the upper part, because it exists then. And the new part of Europe is the southern part. So that's the story of Europe. I hope you enjoyed the story. It's very exciting if you read more about it. It's amazing how you can see all continent changing over geological time. So we are talking about millions years, and it's important for us to see, because we can predict in the future what will happen. As we said, Europe will change. It will be connected to Africa in the very far future from here. So thank you for being with me with another episode of Her Impact. Make science your superpower, and I'll see you next time with another episode.